Happy Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you all for being here. I definitely appreciate you coming in. Good morning, Acadian Carpenter. Me, good to see you. We have Jack Riley and Jack Young both in here. Outstanding. Thank you guys for being in here. So yesterday I had a special event, and unfortunately I was not able to go live. I did do some stuff. The event was awesome. We had a wonderful time. For those of you who are not tracking what was going on, it was WOGO. It was the Women's Orthopedic Global Outreach. This is the one that my wife works with. They're a medical-based organization. They do a lot of surgeries for people who just can't afford them, especially in different countries. They go through and work on mobility in the home. Raised something like $80,000 yesterday for future surgeries and future travel. They're going to be doing Panama in the upcoming year, and we're going to be talking about that later, not today, but we'll be talking about some things there. But we have a panel that I think you guys are going to really enjoy. We're going to be talking about some of the things that are coming up here in the next few days. So without further ado, I'm going to bring everybody up, and you'll see some very famous or familiar names. You'll see the one and only Paula Bloom. How you doing, Paula?
Good morning.
Good thing there's only one of you.
You say my name.
We have Eric, and then look at this. Who's this guy? You guys know who this guy is?
I know him. I know him.
Mr. Mike from the Coin Show podcast. Hey, Mike, thanks for coming up.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Especially short notice.
He's trying to get used out of that old set before the new office and set comes up.
That's true. This will end up being the last time on set.
Oh yeah,
Fantastic.
you got the new office set up.
Office. It's trust me, it's nothing great. But if you understood what I was working with right here, it'd be
The closet with the nice wall behind you.
it's not even really a closet. I'm on a side wall between two rooms.
Oh my gosh.
The hot water heaters to your left.
No, it's behind me.
Okay.
So what's behind those shelves is the closet that has the water heater in it. That's
Fun
It's a
stuff.
great hat.
Yeah.
I have that hat.
It is a great hat.
It's a great
you can
hat.
buy those hats.
You can buy them
You can.
by going to hjbltd.com.
Oh, a different site. I went to the
Burke Limited that's the shop I work for. So for people
Right.
who don't know me, I am a professional numismatist. I work for Harlan J. Burke, who is one of the premier experts in ancient coins. And so I do the Ancient Coin podcast with Aaron Burke. But for 15 years, I've been doing a Coin Show podcast with Matt Dinger, and we've been doing that and having a lot of fun with it. And that's really what I was better known for. And that's kind of who I am.
yeah, I've been like binging on the Ancient Coin podcast lately.
It's a really cool show. We did a show this last week on tariffs,
I
and
watched it.
YouTube doesn't like it. So it's not going to get the coverage that it does, but it's not going to get taken down either.
Yeah.
They're just not pushing it in the algorithm.
They will not push this one.
That's a shame.
not a topic. Well, the problem is with ancient coins, they all come from foreign countries. So import laws are really important, and tariffs is just, but we're not talking about it in a political sense. We're talking about it in the form of how does it affect me as a coin collector?
Yeah, their little algorithm doesn't know the difference between.
No, and that's
politics
okay.
and
Because if it knew the difference between really good stuff and really not good stuff, I don't know how I'd do.
You're not the only one.
Ay, ay, ay.
So
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take over here.
Oh, okay, so let me tell you about this group right here.
It happens.
Most of the time I don't talk. No, it's all good. I always joke with Paula. We just do whatever comes up. So whatever the topic is, whoever's talking, it doesn't matter to me. I don't need to speak. I've learned a long time ago So some of the best mediation or some of the best conversation happens when I don't speak.
That sounds flattering.
So no,
But
we have good conversations here. I do want to cut straight to it though, and I want to talk about the Newman numismatic portal.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that's going on, and since we have you up, let's talk about that. This is something that I know about, but and as I've talked with you, not really watched it much. Really haven't done much. I've kind of looked through it. We talked about it just before we went live. Lots of cool things, lots of great videos on this place. Definitely something underutilized on my end. So you want to talk a little bit about what that is and
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, my involvement with the Newman Numismatic Portal has been only as an interested bystander and somebody who has seen an opportunity to communicate and to help further my message. So they've been really, really good about that. It is a repository for all kinds of numismatic information. You can research things like old auction results. You can look up old catalogs. You can look up coins. You can look up stories. Every episode, for better or worse, of the Coin Show podcast is there. Ancient Coin podcast is there. They do, I think they have the Coin Week podcast. They have all of this stuff as just like an archive like the Smithsonian. That's kind of what they see it as, at least. This is not official. This is my opinion. And that's kind of how they treat it. And every year at Central States, Len Augsburger puts on the Newman Numismatic Symposium. And basically, he just gets volunteers from around the coin industry to do it. The person who does the publicity for it, who does all the work, for getting people and stuff like that behind the scenes, is a young lady named Leanna Spurrier. And she is Numismatic Marketing is the name of her company. And she helps Len put this on. Leanna is somebody who has been, kind of adjacent to our show for a long time, and we consider her to be a part of it. And so when it first came on, she says, "Hey, would you guys like to do your show?" So we actually did a live episode of the Coin Show podcast at Newman Numismatic Portal. Second year came, we did it again. I think the third year was when they started putting it at the end of Central States. And with that, it's Matt's travel day. But I still wanted to keep contact with him, and I still wanted to do it. So I have given a talk every single year, or actually every symposium since. I'm the closer. I'm the guy that shuts the place down. It's like I turn off the lights, and then that's it. So this year I'm going to be giving a talk on a very familiar subject to this chit chat and to a lot of other people on the panel, which will be numismatic podcasts worth listening to. So I'm going to be talking about, the different podcasting and stuff that's out there that's worthwhile and that I think needs support.
I think that's really awesome. I know that you guys have talked about this on your channel. There's tons and tons of misinformation out there. And I think everybody on this panel has that same general desire, which is to grow numismatics, right? Make sure we get good information, have the right people sharing information out, dispelling that misinformation. I think that's absolutely awesome. There's so many talented people that if we really want this hobby to go in a good direction, we need to make sure that the people who are out there doing the work, again, we have a couple people in chat. I've been hitting social media quite a bit lately, trying to watch these things. It's like, well, how do I find out about this coin? And it's a flowing hair. It's like, oh, well, then here's the 3 people you need to reach out to. Right? Go check out their channels. Go check out this information. Hey, here's this, link and cent variety. It's like, oh, go check out these 2 channels. These are the ones that you want to look at. right? And then making sure I direct them to these people. Like, so get these channels that are constantly doing good information and get them out there. I know that Matt was talking about what he's trying to do to engage social media and get more people in, right? I think that's important. I think we really need to make sure that these things are done because we're never going to be able to shut down all the crap sites that are out there. But if we can share information and get people linked into the right ones, maybe we can change the world for that one or two people that can help carry that voice.
And maybe overall, you can put a current out there, right? That people will know, okay, this is at least good information. Let's go check there. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I told him, I said, the smartest thing that I ever learned in college was not that it's not important to know the answers, because nobody knows the answers to everything. It's knowing where to find them.
Yep.
Yep. It's not whether you're right or wrong. It's the work that goes into whether you're right or wrong.
Well, right or wrong is a different thing. You know?
Well, you know what I'm saying? It's the research you do, but when you're in college.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the stubborn thing about facts. Whether you like them or not, they're still facts.
Well, there's a horrible thing that goes around on YouTube and social media period called the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Mm-hmm.
There's another one that's out there, and it's called main character syndrome.
Right. Well, it's toxic. I don't even comment on stuff on Facebook just because I'll just like the stuff that I think is accurate. It becomes toxic, and then you start getting instant messages of what a moron you are, and it's just like, okay, figure it yourself.
Yeah, you got to have a thick skin. Look, but there is this one face that I see on Facebook under like 20, 30, 40 different names every day.
Oh, Coin Channel Tube.
Yeah, so it's
Eric Miller.
Miller, yeah.
I really think that that's a Chinese bot.
Yeah, it has to be.
So prolific.
Yeah.
And it propagates so much that I think it's, because that's all I have on my Facebook at work is just
horrible.
Yeah, I actually did a whole discussion on that, where I actually broke down. It's like a 3-minute short or something like that, where I actually broke down, and I show like item after item after item after item after item, and what it is it's product recognition, right? Mm-hmm. Where you have a face and you identify that face with quote unquote knowledge. And so people steal identities, and then when YouTube made that thing where they weren't going to stop spam accounts, right? They're not fighting that anymore, which is really it's a sad day. It's just they're going to be putting that out there, and so how do you find out the official one, right? There is something like I think 15 that I pointed out in this little short, and it's like, look, these are all videos, but they're not his videos. These are fake AI generated videos that are even worse than his. Some of them are horrible, but what they do is if you look at every one of those, they have one specific thing in common. And that is they all say, for more information, click down below. And you go into the first one, and it is the first thing that comes up is you have scam or spyware on your computer. Click here and we'll help you get it off, right? And it's to steal your information. And yeah, that's all it is. And so I have a computer that I do this stuff with when I do training, where it's connected. It doesn't matter what's on there. It gets wiped off every month. And I'll use it. And I'll record these things, and it'll show where it goes to, and then I'll track these things. And I pulled it up, and I've taken screenshots of exactly what the error message is, the site that it takes you to. And it's like, if you guys see this, and you can find out what it is because you'll see it in the URL. If you see this, steer clear of it. This is not his. And if it is him, we have a real problem. Because but I don't think it's him. I think it's a bot.
So you're telling me that Tuk Tuk Tina isn't an Ethiopian princess?
So the part about it is,
well, Mike has a personal relationship with him.
the worst part about it is when this guy started out, he was using the coin show.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it took a cease and desist order. I mean, it really did. That's what we had.
Seriously, wow.
Yeah.
Yep. They got.
Yeah. See, here's the thing: is Matt is president of a coin club, right? And this coin club is full of lawyers, and a couple of them happen to be property or not. What do they call it?
Trademark or whatever lawyer.
They're trademark lawyers. So it's like, Matt's like, okay, this will be fun.
That's fun.
That's good for that stuff.
Yeah.
That's really good for that stuff. So,
and it's lucky because most people that do this don't have money to hire a lawyer to take care of that.
No, and no, Matt has no problem with that. He's not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but he does well enough that the coin show, the whole thing with the coin show was his idea. He was the one that started all of it. It's like him and I have kind of put it all together. But I mean, from word go, he's always been the funding behind it. He's always been and he's made sure that we've had everything that we need.
Well, it's awesome. It's an awesome broadcast.
Well, thanks.
I am bummed. I watched part of it this morning, but I am bummed that I sat by my pool and drank bourbon and didn't know about it last night. I was actually.
Oh, you probably had just a fine time. Don't feel bad about that. No regrets.
No, I don't have regrets because, like I said, the weather was perfect. It was dry and 70 degrees. Just perfect weather for sitting outside.
Mm-hmm.
It was dry here, but more in the high 40s, low 50s. Yeah, it's not quite time to get out the fire pit yet.
Yeah, we got another 2-3 weeks, and then it's going to be 6 months of oppressive heat.
Yes, that's the one thing that we don't have here, which is why we live here.
But I don't regret it. I come from Detroit, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you live?
I live in South Florida now.
Okay.
Yep. Just south of Sarasota.
Okay. My brother-in-law was in Cape Coral.
I'm about 15 miles from Cape Coral. I'm actually in a city called Northport.
Okay. It's a nice place.
Oh, love it. I love it. The hurricanes, not so much, but to me, they're no really any worse than a bad blizzard. I lost a house to a blizzard. So,
ooh.
Yeah. And I lost a house to a hurricane.
See, I've had all the Midwest terror happen to me. So I survived the blizzard of 67.
78 was the one that took my house.
78. Let's see. There was one in, I want to say right around 2000. But I mean, they're just awful, awful, awful blizzards here.
I'm going to go grab some coffee. I'll be right back.
And then I survived 2 tornadoes on back-to-back nights in Decatur.
Ooh.
All right, I gotta interrupt you guys. Robert Pintoff just dropped $50 super chat.
Wow.
Right.
Thank you, Robert. And he says, I'm a better numismatist because of everyone's education in this channel, providing information that makes me informed to become a better collector. Thank you all. And he's talking to everybody on panel. So thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. You're a great supporter. I appreciate the super chat. But this is exactly why we're here, is to try to provide good information. So I just want to say thank you. Last time he gave me, I think it was like 50 memberships to give away. So he's a great supporter of the channel. So I thank you for that. Hardcore collector. He has some really good stuff. Neat guy. But thanks for the support. But yeah, everybody on panel feels the exact same way. We want to grow the channel.
Memberships he gave away?
Say again?
Were those ANA memberships he gave away?
No, they were channel memberships, but
okay.
I have just purchased 10 more memberships to give away.
Good job.
Oh boy.
So I'll be doing more of that.
It'll be at the Century Club before you know it.
I talk to Al like every few weeks from ANA.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she's neat people. So
yes.
Donna?
Hmm?
Who
Downs.
are you talking about?
I got to rejoin that.
Yeah, you do.
I was a member for years.
Come on.
Okay, so here's what I will tell you. This is probably the absolute bargain because for me, I looked at becoming a life member and saying, well, I mean,
I know what you're gonna
yeah,
say.
but they have a digital life membership. It's I think $800.
Yeah, they had a deal on one too not too long ago,
Yes,
but
they
I
did,
missed
and
out
they
on.
run them from time to time. Look, even if you only can be a member for a year or two or whatever your situation dictates, the amount of benefit that you will get from being an ANA member is well beyond the money.
I agree.
Yeah.
You see, I got the numismatist over here, over my shoulder. I keep that up. I always replace that with the most current episode that I get. There's a lot of information that I've gleaned from that. I'm actually looking at when they do the show in Colorado. I'm trying to get my wife to allow me to go for a week so I can take some of the
I want to go to that
counterfeiting
so
coins.
bad.
You know how they do the classes? We can actually sit down and go on site and do that kind of stuff. I'm actually going to try and do that this year. So we're trying to work it out so I can go, because I think that would be fabulous to be able to go do.
That's in Oklahoma City, right? Yeah.
You should do summer seminar.
Say again?
I know.
You should do summer seminar. There are so many good classes at summer seminar, and here's the thing:
there are.
is almost anybody can get a scholarship, a partial scholarship to summer seminar. All you have to really do is just write a paper and tell them why you want to go, and they will usually waive the tuition. Now you got to pay your own room and board, your transportation, that kind of stuff. But you can still go. You can learn for really next to nothing. The ANA is.
Do you know, Mike? I don't think they've given away a single YN scholarship this year.
Okay,
until a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. Though. We had an internship program listed, and it's had an internship program listed and got 0.
Yeah, I remember that.
Now it's like we finally have some responses, and but I mean to work at Harlan Burke? Are you kidding me?
No kidding.
We're going to pay them. It's not just an internship; it's a paid internship. So, we were looking for AP history students in high school.
Just got a new member, the Groves Bargain Emporium. Steph, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Well, and isn't that how young Jack got his start? Was through an internship too?
Young Jack was a kid that frequented the shop that I work in, and he just kept coming back and kept coming back, and we finally looked at it. We were like, this kid is really sharp, and we offered him our first internship.
Fantastic.
So he was our very first intern. So yes, he has that history.
All right, I got a membership question. I just signed up for the ANA. Hit all the buttons and it didn't want any payment or anything. Do they send me it just said, congratulations. Do you want to subscribe to the newsletter?
No, it should give you payment.
Have your payment
money.
I didn't put any money.
No, did you go to money.org?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they have your
took all my information?
Oh.
And like if I hit join now, it still has my information.
Well, they probably just renewed you.
Well,
if they already had your information and you're already on file, and they have your billing stuff on file, they may have done it that way.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
So Jack Riley, I did send you the pictures. You just got those of this one. This is that fake trade dollar. It doesn't match the family that you have. It's a little bit different from what I saw. So
I was wondering what
Jack Riley and I had an interesting conversation on Facebook not too long ago. We see a lot of fakes out there, but we don't often see real coins that people are calling fakes. And we did come across that. That was an unfortunate set of circumstances with that one. Yeah, where the photographs that the seller took were so bad that people thought that the coin that the person was selling was a fake and in a fake slab, and it wasn't. It was a real coin and a real slab. It was just a unfortunate set of really bad photographs taken by the seller. But people need to learn to keep their mouths shut. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, let he who was without sin cast the first stone, right?
Well, no, I understand that, but I'm just listen. Even when I first started, Mike, my one of the best pieces of advice I got when I first started was if you just sit back and read the posts that are posted, you'll soon find out in those posts who are the real people to listen to and who are just the people that want to just insert themselves. And that I give that piece of advice to people all the time. When you first start out, don't start out by posting coins or answering questions or anything like that. Sit back and learn before you start feeling like you need to insert yourselves in the conversations.
Read
Because
the
oftentimes
room.
it's
Read the room.
you read the room, right? It's most of the time it's not it's not necessary for, and that's another thing. People have a really bad habit of going on and not reading the other comments before they comment, because 9 times out of 10, the correct answer has already been given, and the person doesn't need 50 correct answers. They just
But
need
everybody
one.
feels like they have to have their own voice.
Right.
Right. And
And that can be
that's
a
also
huge
another problem.
Now, I will also explain one of the other problems in this hobby, and it is that this hobby, particular branches of this hobby in specific, that lend themselves to people with OCD and other afflictions of that nature. And so you get people to get hung up on words, you get people to get hung up on semantics, and you get people, that they're not really trying to be difficult, but that's just what they end up doing. So you have to kind of take that with a grain of salt sometimes.
Well, but
Well,
you know what?
I am
So
guilty. I am guilty. I am
yeah,
guilty of getting hung up on terminology and words and
Double
things like
time?
that. One of my biggest pet peeves is when people, are telling people they have a Vice coin and they spell Vice VICE. I will correct you. I have little things that, double die versus
Double time,
double
yeah.
die, and
Double
I
time.
know I
or
think
hey,
that
hey,
those
Paula, what about numismaticist?
numismatist.
No, it's like just spell the name right.
That's a hard word. Just say coin collector.
But can I kind of redirect us back, because we kind of got off talking about numismatic portal.
Yes,
And
redirect.
I just want to tell people that the symposium that they do, which is coming up next week at, during Central States, is a list of people that will talk about such a varied, subject, or varied list of subjects, that it's really really cool, and there's something for everybody.
Hmm.
And you might learn things that you just don't expect. So, I mean, I will tell you that I listened to a talk by Joe Bowling once, and Joe Bowling is former president of the ANA, but also a big currency collector. So what he is doing is he is looking at early 1934 and 35A silver certificates, and looking for ones that have had the gold South Africa seal
Hmm.
printed, because the Italians were master counterfeiters, and they knew that the coin or the notes, if they lost the war, then they were going to demonetize all the South African notes. That was the whole point: is if the Germans, the Italians win, those things are worthless. You can't redeem them. Well, the Italians flaked off the gold thing and printed their own blue seal over the top of it. And although fairly good, are recognizable as not. There are really only three notes that are known in the entire world. There's two singles and a 10. And Joe put that out there for other people, to look for. And it's like, wow, how cool is that? But I
Way cool.
found it out by listening to a talk that I never would have attended, and just I don't know. fun stuff. You're going to get a lot of stuff like that at the Newman Numismatic Portal.
And they do have a YouTube channel that has a plethora of old videos on it. You can see legends of numismatics.
Hey, see me babble several hours.
I love watching that.
I do too.
Yeah. Well, apparently, Mike, I am not one that has great attention for detail because I have been watching you guys for a long time and had no clue you were running a contest.
The secret contest.
Secret contest.
That made me laugh because I was like, I've heard that. And didn't even
not a clue.
Think about it.
Not a clue.
That's it. That's the kind of fun stuff that I always like to throw in on stuff. There's always a twist.
Well, you know what's funny is that I am that person that will usually write you and go, "What the heck is this secret contest?" And I didn't even have a clue.
He mentioned it 3 times. And only one person ever won the secret contest. And there were a couple of them that were going on. So for those that didn't know, on the Glenn Show podcast, I was talking last night because this is the last time I'm using this set. I'm moving into a new office. And so if you look at my background, look particularly over here, you will see there's a clock. There are 4 shot glasses, and there's a bottle of tequila. And that was time for tequila. And that was the secret contest, if you can figure that out. Or, honestly, the one person that won over the years emailed me and said, Mike, what is this about a secret contest? And I'm like, you win.
You won.
Don't tell anybody. It's a secret.
That was the whole thing. So we sent him a T-shirt, and some other stuff, and just had some fun with it.
That's so funny.
I think that's awesome. When I heard that yesterday, I was like, "It's so simple. It's so simple."
Yeah.
Right.
By the way, the ANA website, it was operator error. You have to wait about 90 seconds before it pops up asking for your payment information.
There you go.
So it's done. I'm in the clan now.
Good deal.
Again, in the clan again.
There you go.
Be careful how you say that.
Yeah.
Careful about that one.
I'm in the family. Yeah, got to be careful with that too. Darn.
So speaking of ANA, if you guys are in chat, I want to make sure you guys are chatting it up. I'm going to go ahead and give away an ANA membership.
Oh, I should have waited.
You should have. You can still win it and use it to renew next year.
You can.
No, I don't. I try not to win the giveaways here.
Or you can give it away. You can give it away to a child, a YN, or your neighbor.
Get young people involved.
Yeah.
I try to, and being that I search a lot of pennies and modern coins, I do actually talk to quite a few people that are relatively young. It turns out the people that moved in next door to me, her son come and he says, yeah, I'm looking for this 82D copper pennies, but I really like searching quarters.
Oh, Lord,
I'm telling him about, the chances of you finding that are like none, but it's good to look for it, but just don't look for that. Look for all sorts. He goes, I do. And then he goes, asked where I come from. And I told him, I says, I work with copper coins and this and that. And he knew everything. He was like, oh my God, you're famous. And I'm like, well, yeah, I get 100 views a week,
So famous.
But he knew, but I was actually flattered. I was like, wow, he knew me.
Well, what's fun, you're talking about that 82D is, have you seen the one that Chuck did the actual math on what the odds are if you, because people say, hey, I found an 82D and I got 2 of them.
Well, as soon as they say that.
It's not right. But he actually did the math and broke the math down. And that it's something like 1 in 5.2 trillion or something like that.
By getting it while being eaten by a shark and something else. It was like ridiculous. The chances of it actually happening.
Yeah, it's unreal. But that was a lot of fun.
Yes, because it's you're talking about Denver Mint.
Yep.
Is the only one. And you're also talking about a planchet that just isn't being used anymore, being over.
But that being said, they did just find another example in Illinois, like in the last 5 years. So there's a third example now.
With the hundreds of millions of things that were struck.
Well, 82 is
10 of 0.01% is still going to yield results.
Right. It was over 12 billion cents, I believe, were minted in '82. Yeah. That's between both mints, of course.
Right.
But that's still a ton.
We're only talking about Denver.
Right. So there was probably 6 billion at Denver, 5 billion, So that's a lot of cents. But you don't know. They don't ever come out and say, we made this many small dates, this many large dates, this many copper cents. No. They didn't really keep track of it.
They don't.
So
every time they change a hub or they change this was a big change at the mint for them to change the composition, so much so that they didn't make mint sets for 2 years.
Right.
So Eric, it's 6.012 billion for Denver cents made across all the various denominations just for the Denver Mint in 1982. I was
going from memory, so
so you were pretty much spot on.
Population.
Yeah, and so there's 3 of them. That puts it into perspective.
Yeah.
Well, 3 known. I mean, here's the only thing that I've got to say about cents is that people have paid such little attention to them for so long.
Yeah.
That the possibility of them being out there is far higher than we're at $0.50 quarter.
Absolutely. And like I say to everybody says, I don't know why they don't quit making sense. And why is the Fed Reserve Bank still ordering? Well, that's because there's a jug of pennies in everybody's house that I've ever seen. People don't take them back.
Well, okay. So here's the thing. If they wanted to facilitate that, they could. And they could save the federal government money at the same time.
Sure.
It's really not what they're trying to do.
No.
So that said, you could have a bank rebuy of pennies.
Right, a buyback. I agree.
And they would come out of the woodwork. You would save over 3/4 of a cent on each coin. You'd still be paying over a cent, but you'd save it over 3/4 of a cent on each coin, and people would just pennies would come out of the woodwork.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Every house, like my wife used to be in the storage business. Almost 40 years of owning a storage site. And every time you open the door, there's a jar of pennies. They don't take the pennies.
No.
They leave them there.
And people around here take those water bottles from the, 5-gallon bottles, and they fill those.
And they're 800 pounds, and you can't move them.
You're going to get a hernia and not even have enough money to pay for it.
Yeah.
We also have wishing wells all over the place, fountains everywhere, and copper-plated zinc cents were not meant to last the test.
No, they don't like chlorinated water, do they?
No, they were not meant to withstand the test of time. So,
and seemingly anywhere in America where there is water, people will
are coins.
Throw a wish in there.
There are coins. Yeah.
Yeah, they when we were in Rome, they were talking about the Trevi Fountain, right? And they were talking about the money that they make from there.
I watched that clean out one time, them do the clean out of that one time.
It's insane the amount of money.
Yeah.
It was in the tens of millions that they get from what people throw into the Trevi Fountain. And almost all of that money goes back into making sure they update the various buildings and stuff like that. So really, really cool stuff.
Well,
hey, Tiger, what's up? Good morning, bud.
Morning, Tiger. The video I saw on it, they had somebody from a charity there that was like the first however many bags or whatever coins that they pulled out, they actually gave to that charity. So I think they have something every year that they do with charities, that they give a certain amount of the coins that they pull out to those charities.
Yeah, it's pretty significant. Cool. They make a lot of money.
Yeah. Like, can you imagine the pay-per-view? Put the guy in a bungee cord and say, "How many can you get out in 5 minutes?" That's what
like a human claw.
Yeah, so he's bouncing on the bungee cord with a shovel.
That would only happen in America.
Yeah, not there. Yeah,
or Japan.
Instead of bobbing for apples, like bobbing for change.
I don't know why my brain goes in directions.
I play that game.
That.
I agree with you, Mike. You wouldn't see that. You wouldn't see that in Rome, but
no.
They could do that in the Bellagio in Vegas, like
I'm sure they would do something like that there. Yeah.
See, I have
games.
Because it's like I can't elaborate on some of the thoughts.
So Joseph C. was the winner of the ANA membership. So exclamation point email. Send me an email, and I will give you all the information to get a hold of Miss Downs tomorrow. She'll get you set up, and I'll give you your one-time use code that you can give to her, and she will set you up with that gold membership. So congratulations.
That would be awesome. Human claw.
Speaking of your desk, Frosty, the Guidebook of United States Coins. We were talking about that last night.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I need to get an update on that one. That one's from 2007.
I'm gonna get one of the new ones.
Did you hear what I said too?
Yes.
It's so evil. So Matt is a super, super humble person, right? And because of that, people like messing with him. Everybody loves messing with Matt. And just so happens that he has a picture in the 2025 Red Book. And so what I suggested to all of our listeners last night is take it to Matt, ask him to sign it. He said, "Oh no, I won't." And I'm like, "No, ask him."
Yes. Yes.
He's gonna be torn between wanting to be humble and wanting to do something for the listeners. So
the best thing is bring it to him at a show. Present it to him live at a show when there's people around him.
No, somebody needs to blow it up. I told him I blew it up and made it into a poster, and I have it hanging right next to my Sean Cassidy.
That being said, this is the first new Red Book I've bought since I've been collecting coins. I always bought them when they were a couple years old for 50 cents at the garage sales and stuff like that.
This is one that they need to buy. Yep.
This is a watershed. So it's like it's changed. And it's better.
Yep. Yeah, I think that even though, because if you guys see, every time I always recommend new collectors buy the Red Book. It's the first book I always recommend they buy. And I usually tell them, pay no attention to the pricing, because and the biggest reason is because new collectors don't know how to grade coins. And so without being able to at least get the grade that they show in the Red Book close, the pricing isn't going to mean anything to you, because everybody's automatically going to go to the highest grade they show and go, oh, that's what my coin's worth. So I usually tell them steer clear of the pricing.
It looks MS-65.
I think this year is a little bit different. I think that they may be a little bit closer to market prices.
It's more realistic.
Yeah, more realistic. Yeah, but
it's still a year. You may have to print these things long.
Right. And it says 2026. So anyway,
and I think they have more realistic pricing data available to them now. But
I usually tell people buy one that's a few years old, because the information doesn't change. The only thing you're missing are coins that have been minted in those the last few years, and you can find information on PCGS Coin Facts about that stuff or whatever. But this year, I am telling people to buy this year's copy because Matt's picture's in it. No, because it's that's why. But because I think that some of the stuff they have in it is really cool. They've got like little facts, like did you know, and little
I like the
Easter eggs here and there. Huh?
I like the QR codes.
I love that they did that last year, I think, too, right? They started out with that, yeah.
But there's a lot of this year, and it makes the book more alive in the fact that QR codes take you to websites, and the websites can update themselves.
That's
right. Yeah. So yeah, I think that this year is going to be a good one for people to pick up. So yeah. There is that. Unless, if you want to wait a couple years or even a year, buy this year's, next year, you'll get it cheaper than you will if you buy it right now. And you'll still have your old Red Book. The information is still relevant, but I definitely think you need to get this year's book, whether you wait a year to get it or not. I think everybody should get this year's book.
We spoke to Jeff Garrett and to John Feigenbaum about it, and you know, we were asking about the changes and things like that. Well, I really think that this year's book is important. I don't know if going forward, if it's going to be buy the spiral bound edition. Boy, is it so much
Yeah,
better.
it's the cheapest one, and it's
$17.95.
Yeah.
I think that if you look other places, you might find it cheaper. Just saying.
You could, but to me, that's a deal. I mean, with all the information that you get in that book,
It's
if you collect coins, 100%, yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
and again, if you want to buy the nice one, the really nice bound one that has all the other items in it, this one's only 26.
There's a paperback, there is a bound, there is a spiral, there's a large print edition, and they also told us that Mega Red is going to continue.
Okay.
And for those of you that have eye issues, they also have this one too, which is large print. I'll be sending that one to Paula.
That's for me.
No, but if you guys have eye issues and it's hard for you to read those, they do have this. And this is one thing that I do like about this. I have visual acuity issues ever since my eye surgery. I see really well, but it's hard for me to read inside that 18-inch window. So having something like this is really nice. So it's really cool that they do this for the
if
for
you're
the collector.
Really cheap, you can get the Kindle version for $9.99.
Yes,
you can. Yeah, you can get the digital version. Yeah. I just like I like books. I'm with Mike. Mike and I are kindred spirits when it comes to that. I just like books. And
I lost hundreds of books in a flood. And I said, I'm never going to get books again. I had a bunch of books that JT Stanton gave me at a fun show, like in 2002, 2003. And they were great books. I mean, it was like I said, the one was the book of Georgia Gems, which was out of print for 25 years then. And they all turned into mush when my basement flooded. But I actually say I've got about 10 books now. People give me books, and Brian Allen has given me some of these real obscure books. I don't even know where they're at now, but they're
I love books.
Yeah,
I love my books.
As one,
and I actually read them.
In my background, I love books. I also have a crystal ball back there, so just saying.
I know, I do. I love them. I like to be able to flip from page to page. Where I have with the digital copies, it's always kind of difficult. It's easier for me to find what I'm looking for in a book than it is to try to find it in a digital copy. And it's quicker. So, but that is an option for people. But back to the Red Book, whatever you choose, just choose to get one this year. Choose to get this year's copy if you can at all pull it off. I think I'm gonna pull some money from our budget, our channel budget, and buy a few for giveaways.
That's a good call. Giveaway. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, folks, again, people are teasing me in chat about having a 2007. Your Morgans and Peace and your Flowing Hairs and all that stuff, none of that stuff changes. Right? Your vintages are going to be there, all that stuff. Now, there may be new things that come out, but again, we have other resources for that. I'm not utilizing it for prices. And I'll be honest with you, even though, and you collect the innovation dollars, right?
Yes.
Okay. So even though some of those I'm really looking forward to, the shuttle and they
were nice this year.
I am buying innovation dollars this year for the first time ever.
The set is really nice this year.
I'm buying the reverse proof set of the innovation dollars this year for the first time because I do like this year's.
Suggestion to you, Paul?
Sir, always.
Go with these circulation strikes and put them away someplace where they're going to stay nice and golden.
But I love the reverse proofs.
You buy the reverse proofs too.
Okay, so you're saying buy both.
Well, buy what you like, always.
I always do.
Yes, buy what you like. But the circulation strikes, nobody knows about these things. And
No,
it's
yeah.
long been my contention that with the way that these things turn brown,
Yeah.
I mean, they turn an
That
ugly.
manganese. It's that manganese.
Well,
that,
what's
that,
going to end up happening is it'll end up being like red Lincoln cents.
yeah.
Pay a premium for color if they ever start collecting them.
Yeah.
And the mintage is real low. By nature, it's real low because they're not making them really to circulate.
Well, speaking of buy what you like, I just spent more on a 1 ounce silver than I have in a long time, but I had to have it. You guys, if you know anything about me, you know I love the A&A,
Oh, that's right. You told us
medals
about
and
that
stuff
last
that
week.
they put out. And I got myself one of the 2024 Chicago
Yes.
World's Fair Money A&A. I did. It is beautiful.
Mhm.
It is
Yeah,
beautiful.
I was very happy to
The
get mine. They're
2024
really nice.
Ascension. Yeah,
And
the
this was the
Ascension
first year it was a
Island.
coin, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Ascension Island, the 2024 Ascension Island World's Fair Money coin. I did. It was the minted assets got together with the A&A last year and made this, and I was able to. They finally put them back up. They were sold out for a long time. They finally put them back up, and I was able to pick one up. And I don't care. I spent too much money on it, but I love it. I
Define
don't care.
too much.
Well, it was so all together with shipping and everything, it ended up being like $140.
Again,
And it's 1 ounce of silver, and
That's
a
right.
lot of people
If
would
you want it,
go,
it's not too
"Eh."
much.
right.
But I collect the A&A, like the medals and stuff. I mean, I
You collect just anything
weird.
that has exumia from
Shoot.
numismatics.
Exonumia, I do. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to Russ's talk on the exonumia. I do collect exonumia. This, however, is a numismatic item. It is not exonumia. But I
Now,
do collect.
Well, it's kind of cross-platform
Sure.
because it's an
How?
A
It's
coin.
a coin.
Right. I guess it is a true coin, huh?
question.
It is a coin. What?
Question for you. You're
Sure.
former military. What did you
I
think of the Mint's medals for the services?
So I liked them. I appreciate that they did that. I am Air Force, and I did not buy the Air Force medal. They got now I've talked about this before. It goes back to the whole OCD thing. They got the core values in the wrong order. So
Okay.
I refused, and I actually talked to them when they were in Tulsa last year. I tried to complain to them, but those salespeople, they don't want to hear it. So anyway, I was talking to the wrong people. They got the core values in the wrong order, and to me, that is a huge no-no because
Yeah,
it is
it's a big
always integrity first. It is always integrity first. And they got it wrong. So I did not purchase them. I am going to keep my eye out, even though I have an issue with the privies and, like they're just overdoing it. They're going to ruin it, just like the Canadian Maple Leafs with their privies. Like, who cares that there's a Bigfoot privy on the Maple Leaf? I don't care.
See, one could say being integrity first is on top, that it is the first.
It is not first.
I know. I'm just saying.
That is in the
with the way
middle.
people lay things out.
And but that is incorrect.
Well, I know you're reading it from right or left to right.
We read from left to right. That is how we read.
Well,
What?
I said as people do in English.
But if they considered the integrity a line above the other two, you know what I'm saying?
That is like reading the "In God We Trust" with we saying "We in God trust."
You mean in God we trust?
Yes.
I'm
Yeah,
saying
they
like on the
changed that
Lincoln,
on purpose.
like on the Lincoln cent. We is up at the top. So
Right.
if we read it that way, it would be we.
No,
in
I
God
get it. I'm
trust.
just saying. Do you think that is why the
No.
design was done like
No,
that?
I think they did it because it was balanced when, as far as striking the coin, it was balanced.
Yeah, it worked in design better this way.
I guess where the rifle and where the
and unfortunately that just isn't good enough.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a really bad selection. And a lot of people were like, what's the big deal? But in all of the services, the one thing that comes first is integrity. Without integrity, you have nothing, right? And so I know they put integrity up top, and I had this discussion
And
with.
it does say integrity first.
No, but Eric,
But
integrity first.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here.
But you won't be able to play devil's advocate with people who are in the military because it's wrong.
And I'm not trying to.
And order of merit matters. I had this discussion with a major general who used to be the Surgeon General of the Air Force. And he's like, I understand why they did it, but I would never own this.
And that's the prerogative. You don't have to own it.
Yeah. So, and again, a lot of people don't understand that. And again, it's not, and Paula and I have talked about this, God, probably about 100 times in the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
No, it's been at least 5 times since we've been doing this.
Yeah.
Since the coins come out, we've had this. I mean, I've never actually looked at the design until just now.
It's true. I am kind of curious to see. So they're doing privy marked ASCs towards the end of the year, with military privies. Now, I think this year they're doing the Marines. I want to say Army and Navy. I'm not sure if they're doing the Air Force. I think it's Army, Navy, and Marines that they're doing this year. The privy mark. And the only reason you know that they're doing them is because the number at the bottom is like 241 PM. And the PM stands for privy mark. So in the identification number, it says PM at the bottom. And it's in the American Silver Eagle program. So, and now it could look, we're talking about the U.S. Mint. It could mean something completely different, but it's in the ASC program, and it says, so we're assuming that it is the privy mark. So I am curious at what those are going to look like. I'm trying to think of a nice way to put it. I have what's the term, something in your craw, or something like that. Anyway, I got a problem. Spit it out, Paula. I have an issue with the overuse of the privy marks, and it's just a personal issue. So
I would say that most collectors agree with you because they have just not done well.
Yeah.
And for those of you who know me and the soapbox that I've been on, we now have replaced our mint director.
We have replaced Ventress. We have.
That she's a really good mint director.
With another female. Now she is the interim mint director, so whether she sticks around or not, we don't know.
No, I have a feeling that they're going back to Philip Deal.
Do you?
That's the name that was bandied about.
Well, you know that they've introduced this female already.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, maybe she'll stay.
Yeah, so I don't know, Frostbyte, if you want to pull that up, if you go to U.S. Mint, the U.S. Mint website, you can find the information on her in there. Pedro asked a question I'm trying to get. Yes, there is a chart, and I think NGC does it, that has historical values. I don't know how far back it goes, but it does have a chart on how, like 5 years ago, how a coin did compared to this year. And I'm trying to find that chart for you.
Here we go.
Kirsty McNally.
Yes. Christy McNally. She is the acting director. I said interim, but acting director. And don't know. She's got quite a bio, so I don't know if she'll stick around. Maybe Mike's correct. I don't know who that person is, but Beal, you said?
Yeah. He's been the mint director before.
Yeah, he was the one before Ventress.
He was the one prior to Ventress, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
And one of the ones that, look, Ventress Gibson will always have my respect because she came into an absolute hornet's nest.
Disaster, yes.
And she fixed it. And she did it
She did fix the website.
Oh, that was huge.
quietly, and she didn't blow her own horn about it. She just fixed it.
Yeah.
And I got to say, she's selfless at shows. I've seen her 2 times at the fun show in the winter, and she literally sat for 3 days, the whole show.
Yep.
Up there.
Nicest place that you ever want to meet.
Yeah.
It's like people were going after me because they said, because we had her on our show. And when we had her on our show, the first question I had to address the elephant in the room. So I said, what's going on with the website? And people were like, how dare you go after her? How dare you? And it's like, so the next time I got a chance to talk to her was in person at a show. And I walked up to her and said, hey, I got a lot of flack from my listeners about, going after you. I really didn't mean to. So if, there was any, and she looked at me and said, Mike, she says, you were being a journalist. You asked a question. She said, it's up to me to either answer it or not. That's what I love about that woman. She was just like, no, break.
Well, I love the break room, or whatever they call it, the waiting room. Yeah. I love that waiting room. It was such a problem prior to that. And
program, and there was
some yeah. I really, really do, and I think that was a great thing she did. I think that there were some pretty bad mistakes there towards the end.
But there always is going to be mistakes at the Mint. It happens.
No, there is, but there were some things decisions that were made. Now, whether she made them or not, nobody knows, right?
And you don't know. That's right.
There were decisions made that excluded collectors. So the gold flowing hair.
She's talking
gold
about
flowing hair. These new 8 era or era 8 or whatever they are, bullion coin ASEs.
Yeah, the Star and the Eagle Privy
that are not sold to the collectors directly through the Mint's website. Certain things like that, I think that they have excluded collectors. I think that the U.S. Mint is I hope that this new director, I think the U.S. Mint is very out of touch with the normal, everyday, average collector. And I hope that they do something about that. Maybe create a position out there for someone who can be in the midst of the social media, even someone who's more involved in the social media that can get a feel for what collectors really want and are interested in, because I think that is being ignored.
Well, okay. Now I'm going to kind of take the other side of that to say that you do realize that the job of the Mint is to facilitate coinage.
Of course, it's a business. Yes, of course.
It's the collector side is just it's all just frosting on top.
Yeah, it's a niche.
It's something that is done as an extra, as a plus. They don't think about collectors when they make stuff. And yes, when you make collector stuff, then you do have to think about collectors. So with the Pervy Market,
exactly.
Point, I'm not dismissing what you're saying, but what I am saying is that it's a dog and it's gonna bark, and that's just kind of what they do.
Well, I am strictly talking about now as far as collect, even this, like, for the 2026.
They've done all kinds of things. The reverse proof link consents, the proof link consent, the ones that they put in.
They never finished the nickel. That was another huge problem. They never finished. They did the reverse, the W's. I'm talking about for the W's.
Yeah.
They never finished that. A lot of people were upset with that.
Didn't they address that in the fact that there was no more capacity left at the West Point Mint to do anything like that?
No, I never heard them address it, period. It just did not come out.
That's
I've heard that.
Because capacity. It's like, West Point's a small facility, and they can only run silver or gold or platinum. They can't do more than one thing at once. And so for them to run, they were running the quarters, and they were running some of this other stuff. That's why. So it was truly a capacity issue.
Well, that was a oversight on their part then.
Well, there was a pandemic going on, so people's focuses were a little different.
Yeah, they could.
No, I
They
know
could say
that.
we're doing it at San Francisco and we're going to do something special for the rest of the coins. They could have did that and segued into a different product. Matter of fact, I think it was on your podcast that you asked, and she said that if there was anything from a West Point Mint, and Ventress said there's no more capacity at all
Right.
at the West Point Mint. There's no new products coming out of West Point.
Well, no, because they've taken up as much space they're on the military.
Right. There's no expansion to be had. They're on a
Right.
military base. Yeah.
And yet they're talking about maybe closing the San Francisco Mint.
Well,
Yeah.
when I heard that, did you read into that press release?
I
When
did.
they looked at that and advised doing it, they didn't realize that they even made coins there.
There's a lot of things they don't.
That came out the next day. They were like, "Oh my God, they actually do mint coins there."
I will bet you that Denver has untapped potential.
Yes, I believe it does.
You want to put all your eggs in one basket. That's the
So what will be
No.
interesting going forward? I'm just gonna make. I just want people to keep their eye out. So since 2012, the San Francisco Mint has made business strike quarters. A lot of people don't realize that. They
That's
have
right.
made business strike quarters since 2012. They
I-
did it all through the women's quarter series. Now, we don't know if that will end after 2026. Will they even make a business strike in 2026?
We don't know.
We don't know.
I will bet.
But it will be very interesting to see for those of you that bought the 2026 women's quarter sets, because it's the only way you can buy them is through the U.S. Mint. Keep an eye out for that, for those business strike S Mint quarters to be not
And they're
a
low
thing
mintage
anymore.
too. There's another one that's low mintage in
Very low mintage.
like,
They're
yeah.
way lower mintage than the W quarters or any of those. Yep.
Yeah, they're low mintage, but they're made to order. So if a lot of people ordered them, they will make more. You can find them at really good coin shops.
Yes.
Shameless plug, Harlan J. Burke. We sell them. I
Mhm.
will advocate for people going back and getting the S Mint quarters, because I think there's, again, like the innovation dollars, there's enough people out there that just don't know about them that they're not going to be, they're going to be sleepers.
Yep.
Yep.
All the way back to 2012. So they
Yep.
go well back into the national parks, which there's your messed up series. They did
Yes.
parks where the mint set finish changed in the middle of the series. They started doing S mints out of nowhere. They started doing jump
Goofy.
mints out of nowhere. It's like
Mhm.
it was just all over the place.
Don't know if they are or not, if they're going to close it or not. All of the, a lot of stuff is just kind of guessing. It was just like this debacle with the 2025 Lincoln set. A lot of people lost a lot of money.
They still are. They still are. This hasn't stopped.
And they still are, yeah.
A lot of money.
Greedy people,
That's the thing about the pennies. I just had this discussion yesterday. There was a fella, they're going to quit making the pennies. I says, it's not just that easy. I says, if the Fed Reserve Bank tells the Treasury they need pennies, they're getting pennies.
Since the executive order,
There was no executive order. It was just
he never wrote up an executive order.
No, he
Everybody
just told the
thinks
mint
that there
director
was
he wanted them
actually
to
an
quit making
executive
pennies.
order.
It's the guidance. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mint has struck $500 million pennies. So
$1 billion. They've actually struck $1 billion.
900 million. Almost
$1 billion now.
900 million.
There you go. There's the numbers.
Yep.
February, when he said he wanted to stop.
Right.
Yep.
It's at $500 million since then.
It was on his way to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
30,000 feet in the air.
And that was my thing about he goes, well, I don't understand why. I says, because everybody's got jars full of pennies at their house. They need pennies. Because he's like, banks don't need pennies. There's pennies all over out there. And it's like, yeah, but nobody takes them back. And everybody sits them in a jar.
And it was the same way with the last year's nickels. So now I will say last year's nickels have a really low mintage if you put it all into perspective. However, there are not that many people who want them. So it's
Right. Well, that's like the
it
2009s, nickels and
you,
dimes. They're low.
when you go with value, you have to go with, supply and demand. If the demand is not there, it doesn't matter how low the supply is.
Yep.
No, but look at the 1983 quarters and halves.
There you go. 82 also.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
Don't
another.
Yeah.
forget that's so eventually the simple supply will exhaust itself, and if
And that was the years of the video games. So it's very hard to
They're
find
well used. Yeah.
high mintage or high grade examples. You can buy
souvenir
the
sets.
souvenir sets,
Yep.
and I buy those up anytime I can find them at a good price.
Absolutely.
I
I
do buy those souvenir sets.
65 souvenir sets out of it.
Yep. The 82 and the 83, there's a few different types. There's the kind that were actually sold at the U.S. Mint. You can tell by the little token that comes in it. And there are some that were sold through magazine subscriptions. So there's a few different types of souvenir sets for 82 and 83, but they will all have better examples, higher grade examples of coins in them than what you will find in circulation for sure.
You know, there's a guy who we buy rolls from wholesale if we need specific years. And when the pressure started coming on the Lincoln sets this year, it was like he wanted $600 a box for them.
Ugh.
And I'm
You
like,
see, you see what's on the screen right now?
yeah,
That's stupid.
Insane.
well, it is.
42 of them sold.
It's just nuts.
Yeah.
You'll never, ever, ever, ever. Well, I can't say that. Not in the near term will you ever recover that money. That's gone.
I can tell you that I just bought 2 rolls for $3.99 a piece, and I felt dirty.
You know what bothers me about that? Go back to 2021 and those Lincoln cents with the ginormous die break.
Yeah.
They had several, had 3 or 4 different, anyway, whatever I'm trying to, stages, 3 or 4 different stages. Those die breaks, I think it was 2021, right? With the ginormous die breaks. Those die breaks still sell for great money. There you go, right there. Look.
Yeah.
Now that's an early stage.
Right.
That's like
That's
shit.
an earlier stage. Those so those are the types of things that you are missing potentially by not looking through those boxes of sets that you're leaving stored, hoping for whatever you're hoping for.
You know me. One day I'll look through every penny I own.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, getting rolls of pennies is gotten difficult for me in the last 6 months. Actually, in the last 5 years, it's becoming more and more difficult. I used to have dealers, boxes would just show up.
But those are the types of things that bother me when I see people hoarding away boxes of new cents and stuff like that. What are you missing? What is potentially in there? Right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Mint went to distributing coins in ballistic bags.
Yes.
That, yeah. What is it, a $5,000 palatainer now instead of a $50 bag?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I tell you what, they're smaller than you think.
Yeah.
But it still takes a forklift to lift them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Try to find the very late stage of that.
$50 bag was 67 pounds, I believe.
Yeah. Which is not light either. But
right.
You can just put in major die break, probably in the search bar. 2021 major die break.
I think he's Colonel die break now.
Colonel.
With the candlestick.
In the library.
I'm going to see how he's trying to find the
big one.
It's tough to find them. They do not hit the market very often. The later stage, they do not hit the market very often because people really want them for their collections. I have one. I could pull out my scope, but
yeah, I don't see any of the major ones. But I can do this.
But anyway, that's so when I see them, that I'm a coin roll hunter. at heart. And so I could not leave an entire box of unsearched coins. And like Mike said, they're not all, just because they say that they're all brand new cents, they do get mixed in those ballistic bags.
There's a good photo of one.
Yeah, and you
Well,
get
they get rolled up.
circulated coins in them, so they're not all gonna be.
You can get circulated cents in brand new boxes.
Yes.
It happens all the time because they fill a hopper up, and you don't know when they're filling the hopper up. If it's
Exactly.
after
That one down in the lower left down there, that's lower left. Right there. Yeah, that's the latest stage of that die break. That is where that piece of that die, and if you look at the reverse, it'll look just like the reverse of a cud looks, where it's it didn't fully strike up. I think that middle one right there. Yeah, yep, and there should be a reverse picture. If you keep hello, $29.99 for 1 year. That's a bargain.
There it is.
There you go.
Yep,
See?
there you go.
So you're missing the design on the reverse because that part of the die actually completely broke out, and so there wasn't enough metal to fill in.
Yeah, you
to strike up the detail.
line that goes where the crack is.
Yeah, you almost can, can't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great error. If you remember, if any of you watch Sean from Blue Ridge Silverhound, you'll remember that him and I both got boxes of these from the same exact person, and he got about 100 examples of this die break in different die stages, and Paul Bloom got none.
It happens.
That's unreal. You know what? That's unreal.
It was crazy. It was crazy. Same exact person sent us two boxes from the same exact source, and he got a bunch and I got none. Actually, I think one box was from Brinks and one was from
Probably,
the other.
yeah, probably different bags.
Yeah. So
it'd be really cool to have the 4 of these coins put together in progression.
I have 3 of them. I have 3 of the progressions.
That'd be really cool to have.
I don't have the really early one. Is the one I'm missing.
Yeah, fun stuff.
I like that.
Really fun. Yeah. So you never know what you're gonna find. Life is like a box of chocolates.
Well, hey, let's say about that.
The fun is looking at these coins, no matter what you're looking at.
It is fun.
I just
coins
like when I go to a coin show. I love it when the dealers go, I really hate being cherry picked, and I says, I'm not cherry picking you. He goes, well, you're looking for die varieties, right? And I says, yeah. And I don't like people making money off me. I says, these coins aren't going to leave until I die. So I'm not cherry picking. I'm buying the coin because I want the coin.
Well, then he should do it himself then.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
They go, oh, okay, go ahead and start looking.
Yeah, hire somebody to go through them all.
Yeah. There are a lot of people that go through dealer stock to try to find stuff to make a lot of money off of.
I have long said, and look, I work in a shop. I have said the person standing on the side of the counter that knows the most usually wins.
Fact.
There you go.
Yeah, fact.
Hey, Mike, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Where did "Don't Be a Doofus" come from?
Okay, so it's an ancient coin podcast thing where we talk. You've never watched the show, obviously.
I have watched the show, just not regularly, because it makes me feel stupid.
No,
I don't like to feel dumb.
Look, the whole idea behind the show is Aaron is teaching me ancient coins, and nobody knows less about ancient coins than me. So if I can learn, anybody can learn.
I've been loving it.
The thing is this: we
you say
about
that
auctions, and we talk about the upcoming auctions. This month or this couple of weeks. Then the next show we'll go back and we'll recap them, and then we will grab one sale that we feel somebody overpaid or made a big mistake in buying, and we call it our doofus purchase of the week.
Ah, okay.
Doofus.
Don't be a doofus.
Everything, our T-shirts, our hats, everything says "Don't be a doofus."
Well,
Because
I love that.
yeah, it's just don't be dumb. I mean, kind of, and it was Aaron's thing, and it's Aaron's show, and I mean, it's the
I always say, look, their
and
hats
you notice
are
it says
business
Chris
up
Aaron
front,
Burke.
party in the back. Business up front and party in the back. That's how I describe your hat. I love that hat though. I really would like to know who made those hats for you, because they are A1 quality, and
Okay, so
I
these
would love to get
are $59.50,
Mhm.
$39.50, $39.30. They are the Major League Baseball warm-up hats.
I
These
love
are
them.
the ones that the ball players wear during batting practice and stuff like that. They are really super high quality hats, and Aaron, that's what he decided he wanted to do. And I have worn this thing so much and so bad that it's stained, and I have a
No, I love
backup
it.
one in case I ever have to do an actual appearance or something like one.
Mike, if you'll throw the
Well-
link of where people can find that hat, I'd appreciate that if you could throw that into chat.
Yeah,
I'll
you
copy it
guys
and
should.
paste it in there.
Hold on a second. Let's see.
I could swear I looked for it and couldn't find it.
So Shane Conway, thank you so much for subscribing. Definitely appreciate that.
You're in a good
Or
place.
Coan, sorry.
yes.
Yeah, Joseph, you never know what double die you might find too. The problem with most of the newer stuff that's out is pretty minor double dies, but you just never know what you're gonna find, right? And
You never know until the
you
next
never
big
know.
one.
Eric, a lot of people love searching for those minor double dies, and I love that they love it. They're not for me, but I love teaching about them, and I love that people look for them because it keeps you in the hobby, and that's all I care about.
Look at the 2023.
Stay in the hobby.
So to answer your question about the hat, Frosty, unfortunately, I have to talk to Aaron about actually putting up we've never really promoted them, but they are for sale. So
They are.
$40.
I almost bought one.
They're $40, and you can just email Aaron at hjvltd.com, and ask him for a hat. He might just send you one for nothing, but you never know.
I'll reach out to him. I need to follow up with him anyway because I need to coordinate a time for you guys to come on.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I need to finish coordinating that with you guys.
He's looking forward to it. It's like, I don't know what I'm going to see. Again, I'm the dummy, right? So it's like, I'm the guy I'm the foil.
Compared to Aaron.
Well, I'm always amazed the knowledge of that guy. I mean, so it's one thing to understand coins and being able to tell if things are real or not. But to off the cuff be able to talk about the history and the historical context and what's happened and the known counterfeits, and I mean, he's a walking encyclopedia of ancient coins.
A catalog of 2,500 years or more.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, okay, but understand that he grew up as
with the legend
Harlan Burke, so it's
exactly.
He was exposed to it, and what his dad has always said, and I work with Harlan a lot. Harlan says you just keep looking at them, and eventually they get to be old friends, and then you just recognize them. That's all there is to it.
In the coin hobby, like die variety, that's the best hint to be successful in die varieties. You just keep looking at coins, and all of a sudden you see them.
Repetition.
Yep.
Repetition.
It really is, and so
patience and repetition. Yeah.
And not only does Harlan have Aaron, but his daughter Shanna Schmidt, also ancient coin dealer and A&A governor. So I mean, we're not talking about people that are just average doofuses in this business. We're talking about people that are leaders of the business. And I'm really, it was on my bucket list. It's funny. A lot of people don't understand that I've been doing podcasting for a long time, but as far as doing this for a living, I haven't been doing it very long.
What did you do before you worked at Harlan Burke?
Me either. I wish I had been.
Never guess in a million years what I did before.
He made pizza.
Milkman.
Minor league umpire.
Milkman.
I like the guesses. I was a customer service manager for Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Actually, you would be a great
My
customer
next guess
service
would have been Walmart grader.
manager.
I had 22 ladies that worked for me, and I ran a department in a call center, and I had some really phenomenal people that worked for me. They made me.
Look at the guesses. Pedro said ballerina.
Nice.
Oh, you know,
Shoe salesman. No,
I am.
you're not flamboyant enough for a shoe salesman.
I was a shoe salesman. That was my very first job.
Oh, nice.
Oh my
I was a teamster for 17 years too. I worked in a warehouse and threw around half hogs all day long.
Ouch.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you're in Illinois. That's a huge hog country there.
Yeah. So I did that a lot I did that for 17 years, and then Safeway closed and sold the business, and I scrambled. But I had started doing the podcast, and it just ended up working into Aaron coming to me and saying, "Hey, I'd like to talk to you about this job." And I'm like, "Okay," you know.
That's cool.
Great. Now, were you a coin collector in your youth and all the way up?
I'm sorry?
Were you a coin collector all while you were in the Teamsters? And all right.
Well, yeah. So when I was a kid, I did the normal thing. I got away from it when I was in my late teens.
Yep, we lose them all at that
Oh
age.
yeah, you get different interests in your
And then after I had kids, I
Girls.
back into it. Yes,
Yeah.
I have 3 girls.
No, we're talking
No,
about.
she's saying when you get a girl, that's when the guys fall out.
Yeah, when
yeah.
the boys
It's things
start to
with
get interested in
curves.
girls.
It's things with curves and things that go around curves.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, cars and girls. We lose the boys to the cars and girls, and then they come back after,
The cars usually stay though. It's usually
when
coins
the
and
cars break down and the women.
Every once
When
in
the
a while.
cars and the women break down, we get them back into the hobby.
Let's hang around every once in a while too.
Well, hey, Mike, let's do one more call about the show you're going to be doing. We'll talk a little bit, wrap that up with the numismatic portal. Let's talk about that. And then I'm going to go ahead and call this session to a close.
Yeah, put that on your calendar, you guys. You won't be sorry. Look at the entire schedule for sure.
It's in alphabetical order, so I'm not.
I watch it every year.
Last, but so I'm going to be giving a talk on numismatic podcasts and good information generally. That's what I'm going to be doing. Is I'm going to kind of take what I've heard here and what I've heard on a couple other places and amplify it into because we really have over the past, I want to say like 4 months, kind of melded into this community.
And it's a great community.
It is
Yeah,
great.
it is.
And we all kind of did our own things, but now we're kind of doing our things together. And I think we have much more strength this way.
Absolutely.
And the consistency of message is way better.
Yes.
So that's what I'm looking for. And so I'm going to talk about places. I'm going to talk about people that have bad information. I may even have a slide or two with somebody's picture on it.
Good.
Well, see, I can do it there. Right?
I know. You almost did it one day.
I wanted to. God, I wanted to.
I know you did.
Yeah, usually Chuck's the only one that does that. He comes right out and
I'm
says
not going to hold you back anymore.
My thing is that I have to worry about getting Matt sued.
Right.
That's the problem. It's like
nobody's going to sue.
What are you going to take from me? A water heater? So
the tequila bottle.
Yeah. So, it's one of those things where you always do have to be kind of careful what you say. But I am going to call it like I see it, and I'm going to talk about live coin Q&A. I'm going to talk about Frosty. I'm going to talk about Chuck Daughtry. I'm going to talk about Jack Young. I'm going to talk about, a lot of these guys out there that do really, really good stuff. Shannon Smith and Casey Coin Guy. And, they're people that are all on the same side. And they're creating content out there. Even Amanda, who doesn't say anything, is out there on the right side.
Amanda
She's
is
amazing.
the backbone of so many things, and people don't realize it. And I'll tell you something. She knows her stuff. So don't ever question Amanda's knowledge
No,
on coins just
Yeah,
because she's
no, it's a lot of
quiet.
sense. She's just quiet, and it's like,
And
Oh,
you
she's
don't realize
quiet, but
how much work behind
yeah,
the scenes there is to do a
yep,
lot of this stuff. I mean, I've
yep.
basically put in 60 hours a week editing websites, editing files, photographing,
She does
stuff like
not
that.
get the credit she is due
Yeah.
for
there's an old
sure.
saying that says "still waters run deep."
So get
My
her-
grandfather
give her
used to
the credit.
say that it's not the person that makes the most noise that you have to pay attention to. It's the
Yep.
quiet ones. The quiet ones, when they speak, are the ones you need to shut up and listen to what they have to say.
Because
And
when
she is an extreme
often,
force.
when they don't speak often, usually when they do, there's something there.
There's poignant information, so you need to be quiet and listen. And Paula, you know this. I call Amanda out all the time. She's amazing. Always dropping little tidbits of information, and if you're not really paying attention, you can miss those.
Great graphic arts.
But yeah,
Great
and the overlays and stuff that she builds, and some of the stuff
Yeah.
that's been done. It's just she builds amazing tools for people. So yeah,
And she
and she's
doesn't blow
probably
her-
lurking right now.
Oh, I'm sure she's out there.
Yeah, and she doesn't blow her own horn about it either.
No,
That's-
no, she doesn't.
Never, never.
And she's got a wit.
She is
She's
hysterical.
funny, but she
Yeah.
just does it, and she's very. I love the satire, sarcastic,
She is
kind
humble.
of, and she's really good at it. Like Amanda's a lot of fun.
dry.
Yep.
So all right, well, hey,
Very good.
especially for the very last minute notice, Mike, thank you so much for coming up. It's been an honor, one,
It was
getting to know
great.
you, having you up.
for
Hopefully, if you guys haven't seen the Coin Show podcast, please go check out Mike and Matt.
Yes.
If
That
you
new
haven't seen
episode
the
in book from
Ancients,
last night.
go
Yeah.
check out Coin Show podcast. Those are two amazing shows. Again,
Hold on a second. I just got it's the Ancient Coin Podcast with Aaron Burke.
okay,
And Show Podcast.
Ancient. Okay, say that one more time.
The Ancient Coin Podcast with Aaron Burke.
Yes.
Coin
Okay.
Show Podcast.
So go check those out. Make sure you're subscribing. And again, if you're not subscribed to any of the channels that are up here, please go do so. Right. And, but go check them out. And again, we got not this coming weekend, but the following weekend is when you guys are doing the thing. It's the 26th of April, correct?
Yeah.
Just over 2 weeks.
We have a new live episode 243, I think, of Coin Show Podcast this Saturday.
And you'll be in a
Outstanding.
new office, is that right? Did I hear the rumor?
Hopefully by next week I will be installed. I won't be down here anymore. It
So the
might be-
Pink's trying is what you're saying.
what I'm saying is that I'm probably going to be in a new room. It won't be completely set yet. You know, it's not like I have set designers and stuff, but yeah, we're gonna do what we can.
I can't wait.
Well, if you can't find room for all your books, you know where you can store them. Just
I'll keep
saying.
that in mind, Paula.
All right, folks.
Thanks
Well,
for
thank
doing
you
this,
so much.
Frostbyte.
My goal is that when I die, to have a bigger library in coin books than any public library in the country.
Good deal.
Good goal.
Goals. We all need goals.
All right,
Thanks
you
for doing this.
folks.
Everybody have a blessed Sunday.
You all have a great day. I'll see you next
See you
week.
guys later. Bye, Mike. Bye, Eric. Bye,
Thank you, guys.
Frostbyte.
Appreciate you coming up. I really do appreciate it. All right, folks. Well, hey, this has been a fun episode. We have some amazing people here. Again, Mike, thank you for coming up.
Thanks for having me.
Really looking forward to this presentation. And again, it's about improving communication within our hobby, making sure people understand what's going on, and really driving home the importance of factual information. There's so much crap out there. I really want to say I thank you for what you're doing.
Well,
It really is good for the hobby.
Rope. So
All right, Robert Pintoff, thanks again for the $50 super chat. So much appreciated. And you know what, guys, ladies and gentlemen, have a good day, and I will see you all